This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis. Talking the stories that are shaping headlines, plus those that make you go,
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping the headlines indeed. And boy, we've got so much to get to this morning. Tokyo Olympics have been trending in international news, and that's because after being postponed back in 2020, they are going to take place. But the people of Japan are not too happy about this. They've been calling for the games to be canceled. They're saying it's not responsible, especially with a surge of COVID cases within the country and low vaccination numbers. Yes, the vaccination rates in Japan are alarmingly low. And in line with that, we've got a number of statements being issued by various governments around the world. We're going to focus on what the United States has been warning its citizens about with regards to traveling to Japan. This is going to be part of a larger discussion on COVID-19 travel restrictions and the responsibility of holding large-scale events. So stay tuned for that. That one's coming up next.
Absolutely. And we're also going to give you a little bit of a entertainment wrap-up. We're going to talk about the Billboard Music Awards. Drake just accepted his award for being the Artist of the Decade. And when he was accepting his award, his son was with him. He joined him on stage, and apparently he was crying and all of that. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Billboard Awards and all the awards that are taking place right now in particular. And also, we have a very interesting story that just happened. It was actually viral yesterday on social media. An Indian couple getting married on an airplane because of the pandemic that is going on in their hometown. So they're like, you know what? Instead, we're going to have our wedding ceremony being held at the airplane.
That's pretty cool.
Mid-air.
I can see what they're doing.
I see what they're doing.
It's pretty clever.
It's clever and it's wrong at the same time.
It is.
Because there were about 160 guests, and it was the airplane. It was packed.
Have you seen the footage? It's insane.
Yes. It's insane, and
there's no room to breathe.
No room to breathe at all. They were celebrating like it was a wedding hall. It wasn't even an airplane, and basically they had family members. They flying from all over just to be with them on the flight. And it was from Bangalore to Madurai, actually.
Yeah, it is absolutely absurd. We'll definitely be having a pretty thorough discussion about that.
Can you imagine yourself getting married on an airplane? I mean, I can see people proposing on an airplane.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Especially if it's on business class. That's so romantic, by the way.
Helicopter proposal. That's the best.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
You can get really creative with that.
Yeah, that's good. You know, I saw once a proposal in Al Qasba. It was really nice.
Really?
Yeah, one of the little boats, the little boats in Al Qasba or something. Yeah. So basically, we were on the bridge, and that was one of the nicest proposals I've seen, actually. There were a couple and a friend of the couple. So basically, she didn't know, the woman didn't know that he was going to propose to her. So she took her best friend, I guess, I'm thinking that's her best friend, with them along the boat ride, let's say. And then we're looking from the top. Like a lot of, I just saw crowds of people. This was before the pandemic. Crowd of people standing on the bridge that's on the Qasba, right? The bridge on the Qasba.
Yeah.
And they're like filming something in the water. I'm like, what's going on? So I go and I see the boat, and this guy went down on one knee and he proposed to his fiance, and the best friend of the bride-to-be was actually filming this whole thing alongside all the other people on the bridge filming this. So yeah, that was one of the nicest.
So sweet.
It was very sweet.
I saw this one was on a helicopter. It went viral, and the guy was with his partner, and then they flew over this. I guess they wrote "Will you marry me?" with some things, and they put it in this grass, and she had to see it through the window.
That is so cool.
I like when they do that.
But that takes a lot of effort and a lot of money.
A lot of money. That's the problem. I mean, it really sets the standard really high. Like, now I have to think about my potential proposal.
Oh yeah.
Now I have to outdo all these men here. So chill out, everybody.
Yeah.
Trying to tone it down a few notches, because the rest of us are not going to look so good by the time we propose.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh well.
Definitely.
But yeah, we'll get into that airplane wedding. It's pretty absurd.
We have, during the break, we have to think about like proposal ideas for our listeners as well.
Yes.
So, and if you have any proposal ideas or a proposal that you have done,
oh yeah,
please text us 4215. Give us ideas. I know Omar Duri made a very beautiful proposal for his wife. He told us about it. Shout out to Omar Duri if he's listening to us right now. Maybe he will be listening to us in just a few minutes. But yeah, Omar Duri the host
Halftime show.
of Halftime Show.
Yes.
Yes, he did propose to his wife in a beautiful way. And it was very memorable for sure. And he even captured it on his Instagram. So if you follow him, you can see the proposal on his Instagram page as well. But yeah, if you have any ideas for proposals, please do text us 4215. We would like to share it with all the other listeners, and we would like to take the ideas as well for ourselves, and we will give you a shout out.
We certainly will. So hit up those text lines right now. And here's Good Days by SZA.
The Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping headlines. This is Pulse 95.
Yes, this is Pulse 95. Welcome back on to the Morning Majlis. And we have some developing events happening right now between the U.S. and Japan. We know that Japan, they're going ahead with the Tokyo Olympics, right?
Yeah.
And the U.S. now, they have issued a travel warning for Japan over the country's COVID-19 surge. And this is just before, weeks before the Tokyo Olympics. But U.S. Olympic officials, they have said they are confident that their athletes will be able to take part safely in the games. Japan already bans most travelers from entering the country. It long had low numbers of COVID cases, but it's seeing a fresh wave of infections, pushing the healthcare system in some cities to its limit, actually. Now, Japan has recorded more than 700,000 infections and 12,000 COVID-19 deaths from the virus so far. It's better than other countries so far. But the U.S. Center for Disease Control, the CDC, said that travelers should avoid all travel to the country of Japan, warning that in the current situation in Japan, even fully vaccinated travelers may be at risk for getting and spreading COVID variants. What's going on?
Well, there's a big concern about a COVID-19 outbreak in Japan, which has recently seen a big increase in COVID-19 cases. They've in fact been steadily rising since the state of emergency was lifted back in March. The other major issue is the vaccine rollout in Japan is really low. When you compare it to the United Arab Emirates, for instance, if you look at the number of people who've been fully vaccinated in the United Arab Emirates, that number is currently at 40%, just near 40%. In Japan, it's 2%. So they haven't been getting that many vaccines, and that's because of a shortage of medical professionals available to do the job. They're also having a problem with supplies, and that's the big issue here as well. Now, the government plans to open a large-scale vaccination facility in Osaka, one in Tokyo to speed up the process as well, but the Olympics are coming up soon, and that's where the mounting pressure to cancel those games is coming from. We've seen people take to the streets, demonstrate and express their opinion that getting all those international athletes into the country and potential visitors as well just may not be a good idea. Now, pushing back against those critics, the International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach said Japanese and Tokyo 2020 officials would make the right decision on managing the situation. They said the risks have been managed well so far. However, the Tokyo Medical Practitioners Association, that's 6,000 doctors in Tokyo, recently wrote a joint letter calling for a cancellation, and that petition got 350,000 signatures. So the voices to cancel the Olympics are pretty loud.
Very, very loud. Actually, according to analysts, a lot of people in Japan, they will be hoping that the CDC warning for Americans not to travel to Japan is actually a precursor to the U.S. Olympic team pulling out of the Tokyo Olympics. Why is that? Because most people in Japan, they want the games canceled, as you just mentioned. And a U.S. team withdrawal would almost certainly force the Japanese government to pull the plug on this. Now, for weeks, people have been saying Japan won't cancel without some outside pressure. There's even a name for this in Japan. It's called Jayatsu. Now, those people look set to be kind of disappointed. The U.S. Olympic Committee, they're saying that it is not changing its plans, nor is the International Olympic Committee. Just last Friday, the IOC vice president said the Olympics will go ahead even if Tokyo is still under a state of emergency. Now, that statement, it did not make him many friends in Japan.
Oh, no.
Where daily deaths from COVID are now higher than any other time during the pandemic, and where the healthcare system in parts of Western Japan, they have been described as on the verge of collapse. Now, Today, Japanese officials, they responded to the U.S. travel advisory saying that they did not expect it to have any impact on the Tokyo Olympics. They say, we believe that there is no change in the U.S. position to support the Japanese government's determination to realize the hosting of the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics as well.
Yeah, and we've got less than 60 days to go until the start of the Tokyo Olympics. A lot of questions about how such a massive event is going to take place. Despite the major opposition here, they will go ahead seemingly sporting a brave face and insisting they are receiving the best possible advice from Japanese health authorities and the World Health Organization. So far, the games will go ahead. It's going to be a more watered down event, however, compared to the spectacles of years past. So a compromised version of the Olympics. Vaccination is not going to be compulsory for the athletes and delegations, although everyone will be tested extensively both before and during the games. Attendees will only be permitted to eat in designated settings and allow limited movement and social interaction in Tokyo, but you're not allowed to sightsee and you're not allowed to use public transportation. Those are forbidden in Japan as well. Each delegation will also have a COVID liaison officer to ensure all the rules are being followed, which includes keeping tabs on athletes seemingly at all times. So a pretty sterile, clean atmosphere for visitors to Japan in light of the Olympics, and also a big financial hit because so much money was poured into this event, billions of dollars, and now we're looking at an event with potentially no spectators, reduced team sizes, and even the possibility of only a flag bearer for each nation marching in the stadium as well. We're going to see that decision on June, according to reports as well. And stay tuned to Pulse 95. We've got more discussions lined up on the program. Something pretty interesting here. Algae proteins being used to restore the vision of a completely blind man. Have we cured blindness? Stay tuned for that story and much more right here on the Morning Majlis.
If you liked this episode of the Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse.